What's up, my people? It's your boy Ish, and you're listening to the brand new podcast, Loudly Saying It. Like I told you the last time, I want you to come with me on this journey as we talk about life, business, relationships, and all those topics you want to, but are afraid to. This is about the black man. It's for you to discuss the things that are going on in your communities and the things that are going on with you as a black man, and address them and understand that there are people out there that are willing to discuss these issues with you. And I promise you, I will never ask you to talk about anything that I'm not willing to share with you. So come on along with me as we get into a brand new episode, okay? Let's do this thing. My people, welcome to episode 11, Riding Shotgun. Let me start off by thanking you for sharing our last episode. If you've not already heard it, go ahead and jump on over to iTunes. Listen to it, like it, review, and subscribe to my iTunes page. And share it with your friends, because the more you share it, the more the ratings go up. The higher the ratings go up, the higher the podcasts go on the list in iTunes. You can always hit your boy up on IG, and you can also jump on the website, loudlysayingit.com. That's LOUDLYSAYINGIT.com. And just shoot me a message. Let me know what you're liking, what you're not liking. What do you want to hear us talk about? Or what do you want to contribute to the podcast, or who you know that could be a great guest for the podcast? Today, I have my ride or die. I have my shotgunner. I have my headache. Sarah is my co-host. Say hello to the people, Sarah.
Hello.
That's all you're going to say?
Hi, guys.
All right, well, today we'll be talking about the struggles black men face when it comes to relationships. And I promise you guys that I will not ask anything of you that I was not willing to share. So this is me keeping my promise. Sarah and I will talk about our relationship and the things we've gone through and what we've seen that works for us and what doesn't work for us. And we're going to take it from there, people. All right, guys. So, like I said, we're going to go to topic one. And I said we're going to be talking about our story. And I don't know if she knows how deep we're going to go, but I'm going to start off by asking you. So I want you to tell the people your version of how we met.
Like dating or just like in general?
Wherever you want to start the story, you just go ahead and start.
All right. So, we met back in school. It's a secondary school, so it's elementary, middle, and high school combined. But when I started the school, it was just elementary school. And so they added the secondary part, and they were the first class to start to school. I forget. There was a word I wanted to say, but I forgot the word that I wanted to use. But anyway, so he was 2 grades ahead of me, and that group, the guys were all cute, and we were still in 5th grade, and we thought they were so hot and they were so cute, and so we were doing everything just to get their attention. But this dude over here, he was super annoying, but I mean, not annoying in a sense, but I thought he was just annoying because all the teachers just loved him. They're like, oh, Ganda, he's so smart. Oh, have you heard about Ishma Ganda? So that just got to me, and I was just super annoyed just at the mention of his name. Anyway, but, so I left and I went to a different school, and I lost all contact with him. I thought it was over with just hearing his name. Lo and behold, the school that I went to, there was this girl that liked him, that was supposedly dating him. So she couldn't stop talking about this Ishma Ganda. And there I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I left this dude like behind. Why is his name still following us? And so fast forward, I moved here. Was it
2003?
Yes. And so I was talking to one of my cool guy friends. He's like a brother to me, and we were talking a few years after I moved here, and he was like, oh yeah, do you remember Ishmael Ganda from International? I was like, yeah, what about him? And he was like, oh, he's in America. He lives here in Georgia with me. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, he doesn't live far from me in Augusta. I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, you should look him up on Facebook. I think he's on Facebook. You should add him. And so I added him, and we just started talking. He was like, "Oh, long time. How are you? And how's everything? How are you doing?" And where I was. He asked me where I was, and I told him I lived in Virginia at the time. And so yeah, that's how we met.
Oh, yeah, that's how we met. And I just want you guys to take the most important part of the story was we were really cute guys that she'd always had crush
Whatever.
on. So I just want you guys to
Whatever.
keep that in your mind as we keep going with this conversation. But from my part, it was just the same guy. He hit me up. He said, "Yo, you remember Sarah Bio?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember her." He said, "Yeah, she's on Facebook. Look her up." I did. Saw her. I was like, "Okay, cool." I mean,
I wasn't the little girl, the spoiled little girl he thought I was.
I mean, I'm not going to comment on that, people, because we live in the same house and I sleep next to her. But we reconnected on Facebook, and from there on, I started taking trips to Virginia. Never been to Virginia before. I used to just drive through Virginia to Maryland to visit my siblings. I started making that stop in Virginia. I even drove in the snow through 4 states to come see this lady, and all I got was, "Oh, hey, that's you. Welcome." That's the excitement I got, people. I just want you guys
Because he
to know.
didn't want to come, so I thought I was forcing him. I felt like he only came because he didn't want to hear my mouth. He didn't do it because he wanted to.
No, I was playing that, "Oh, no, I'm not going to make it," and just end up showing up. That surprise thing that you want to do, but I guess he kind of blew up in my face. But that's our story. That's how we met, and we're going to go ahead and talk about our next topic.
No, you forgot to say, you asked me to be your girlfriend. Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not denying that. It's just, hey, it is what it is. I already knew you knew I was cute. I already knew you were crushing on me hard. So it's just one thing. We just needed to just get to the next level.
I was crushing on him.
Oh, yeah, that is true, too. So she wasn't crushing on me then. She didn't want me to say it.
I thought he was annoying.
But I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. She was crushing on my best friend.
I thought he was annoying.
Whatever. Now, let's go ahead and go to the next topic, people.
No.
All right, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about the trials that we went through. Yeah, the backstory it's funny, it's joyous and everything. And when we look back, we laugh about it and stuff. But with every relationship, you have the highs and the lows, and you have the trial periods. And I titled this topic as "Shooting in the Gym" because the whole thing is, hey, you weren't with me shooting in the gym when I was going through it. And I say Sarah is my shotgunner because she's been there with me. She's gone through the trials with me. And like any relationship out there, you go through trials. The struggle as most black men face is, do you hang on when you're going through those trials? Or do you admit fault when you fault? And what do you do to reconcile or make up or try to fix whatever it is that's broken in a relationship? So that's some of the struggles that us brothers go through. And because society has taught us to be manly men, which I always stress, what is a real man? We say, oh, well, I'm too manly to admit that I was wrong, or to admit that I was at fault, or that I did this or I did that. And I know some of the things that we went through were pretty intense. The first thing we had to go through is cheating, which was on my part, and we separated. And it's one of those things, you guys separate and then you start stalking the person's social media. So I'm not gonna say who was stalking whose social media, but let's just say there was social media stalking that was going on. And during that time, we were not in communication, and I don't know what was going on with Sarah, and I don't think she knew what was going on with me. Did you?
About what?
I mean, what was going on while we were separated?
No.
No? All right.
Why did we separate?
Well, we separated because I cheated.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, she's trying to get me to say. She thinks I'm not going to say. That's another thing. It's being able to admit wrong And since we've moved past that, so I just want to know from your point of view, what was going on in your mind, like during that time
Of when
we were apart.
I mean, the only thing I found out about was when you got your letter to go to the Marine Corps officer program. I was really proud of you because I knew that's all you wanted. And when your sister told me, well, she didn't tell me, she just sent me the picture, and I was super proud. And I was like, well, thank God, at least he answered my prayer because that's what he wanted to do. But I mean, at the same time, I was kind of like down, like, oh, I was like, oh, okay, well, it would have been nice to share this moment with him, but it's not. Oh, well, life goes on. But I wish him all the best. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah, and funny you brought that up because when that actually happened, the first person I wanted to reach out to was to let you know, but it was also at that moment it's like, well, yeah, that's not something you want to let somebody know that you've already heard, so you just kind of kept it to myself. I didn't even tell my sister. It's just she saw it on I believe she saw it on my social media, right? That she shared it.
I think you sent the picture to them.
I sent the picture. Well, I may have sent the picture or something, but I don't recall. But it was just one of those moments. So it's all about pride at that point where this was somebody that knew exactly what you were working on and was there praying for you to get to the next level. So when something like that happens and the relationship crumbles, it's, you want to go back and celebrate with that person, but just because of what has been done or what has happened, you tend to just say, oh well, I guess it is what it is. But let's go to a little bit more happier place, which was the rekindling of the torch. So we reconnected again. I think I came up for the weekend. Now I think I flew in. Of course, I knew I was gonna see you, so of course, your boy had to show out. I flew in with my gray suit and everything, feeling fly because I know she liked the suit. And wait, you look like you have something to say.
I didn't even know he was coming. So I was at my brother's house in Laurel, and we were getting ready to leave because I was with Edney, his nephew, to go back home because we lived in Bowie. And so his sister sent me a text, hey, Ruben is here. I was supposed to pick him up, but I'm cut up with something in Alexandria and I can't make it. Can you go get him? First thing was, what the hell? Like, okay, why are you asking me to do that? It's not my business. I've moved on, so sounds like a personal problem to me. And she was like, no, please, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, fine, I'll go. And so I showed up, picked him up, didn't say anything. The whole ride from BWI to Bowie, which was about 30 minutes.
About 35 minutes.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. And it was around 11:30 at night. Didn't say a word. We got home, and I went upstairs, and I went to my room, and I locked the door, and I went to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's not how I remember the story, but we're just going to go with that. All I know was your boy was looking fly. Your boy was just sitting in the car. Well, first, when my sister told me, like, yo, Sarah's picking you up, I was like, oh, crap. But I was like, hey, I'm already here. I know why I'm here. So if I'm here to fix this, then I'm just going to man up and just roll with it and see what happens. And
I didn't even know he was coming.
Yeah, I know. That's true. But we went through that. So during that time, we had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of insecurities and lack of trust and things that we had to kind of iron out. So we had to talk about different things, and there was always this back and forth. It's like, well, you're saying this, but I'm not seeing the action and all that stuff, which is another thing, guys. If you're saying you're doing something, you need to really act on it. You need to execute. If you guys have been watching AM Talks, I've talked about it. You need to execute. If you need somebody to motivate you on that, you need to look up E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. Find him on Instagram. Find him on YouTube. He's going to teach you how to execute. You can't just keep saying, I'm doing this, and you're not executing on that. And I know Sarah and I go back and forth a lot on that because sometimes I'll say, okay, I'll get this done. And Sarah's all about when you say you're going to get it done today, she expects it to be done within the next hour or two. I'm the kind of person when I say I'm going to get it done, it means I'm going to get it done. I have 24 hours to get it done. So that's where we sometimes have struggles. But let's go ahead and talk about building a stronger foundation. So after that whole phase, we talked about the things that we wanted to take with us forward, like carry forward as far as with the relationship, how we wanted to build our foundation. Like I told you guys in the AM Talk videos, you need to check those out. You need to build your house. So we decided that the house, which we were building, we needed some core values. We needed to be honest with one another. What is another foundation that you wanted us to have? Besides honesty. Communicate?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Our spiritual life.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. That should be our foundation. God should be the center of it all. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be all churchy, but
no,
yeah.
it's okay. It's okay. People understand. And that was one thing. And for those of you who know me, you know I started out, well, I was raised in a country in a house where I went to mosque on Fridays.
Yeah, my dad too.
And I went to church on Sundays. So my grandma's house was actually shared a wall with a mosque and shared a wall with a church. So it's one of those, when they say it's a split family, it's really, really split.
Yeah, my dad is Muslim, prayed 5 times a day, performed pilgrimage, so he was Alaji, and my mom was full-fledged Christian. Yeah,
so we're from backgrounds where there wasn't that you're either Christian or you're either Muslim. So when I came to the United States and studied science and everything, and I was like, you know what? I'm a scientist. I got to see fact before I actually deal with religion. So I pushed religion aside for a bit and then eventually got back to it and said, okay, well, I'm just going to go the Christian route instead of being this split identity. I mean, I did study a lot of religions in college during humanities, which was always interesting to me because it helped me learn more about other cultures. But that was one thing I really had to work on my end when it comes to being strong spiritually. And I ended up moving to Maryland.
Why'd you move? Tell them how that whole thing went down.
All right, so this is what happened. For years, Sarah and my siblings have been telling me, well, you need to move to Maryland. You're the only one that lives in Georgia and all that stuff. And I kept saying, nah, Maryland, I just like to go visit Maryland. I don't really want to stay in Maryland. So after we rekindled our relationship and everything and started over, it's like, well, that was something I started thinking about, saying, well, if this is going to work, I want to move closer.
Because I told him I wasn't going to do long distance anymore. It was over it.
Yeah, she said it, but it was later on. It wasn't because she said it. It was something I was already thinking. And even when she said it, I was like, okay, bet, I hear you. And what happened was that it was just the right time as well. I went through all these things I was going through at work, and I'm telling them, like, all right, this is what I expect. And, nobody takes you serious until you actually tell them you're leaving. And when I told my job, hey, I'm leaving, I'm moving, that's when they wanted to offer me what I was asking for. So actually, when I moved, Sarah and
we didn't even believe it.
Yeah, and my siblings, they didn't even believe, because I just got everything that I could get and just dumped it all up in my truck. And I drove about 9 hours up to Maryland from Augusta. And I told them, I said, hey, I'm here. And they go like, what do you mean you're here? You're here for like the week? I was like, no, I'm here. Like, I'm here. I moved. I was like, no, you can't just move like that. What about just your place? I was like, well, I have somebody that's in there right now. We're going to be paying the rent and all that stuff. But eventually I'm going to move everything up. And I don't think you believed me until I actually drove the truck down and loaded everything up in that 22-footer and then drove that back up. That's when I brought everything that I had in Georgia was in that truck. And that's when they really believed that, yeah, this dude actually moved.
Yep.
And even in Georgia, a lot of people didn't even know that I moved. They would hit me up and say, hey, you're home? I'm like, yeah, I'm home. They said, I bet we're coming over. I was like, well, it's going to take you 8 hours to come home and see me. He said, what are you talking about? I said, because I moved to Maryland. And a lot of people were shocked. It's like, oh, wow, you just get up and do? I was like, yeah, and that's how I am sometimes. It's when I say I'm going to do something, I might drag, but then one day it's just boom, and it's done. And so we built that relationship, built a stronger foundation, and then we had the first baby, Amir, or MP, as everybody calls him. And then, so Amir is named after his grandmother, whose name is Amira, and we just named him Amir, which means prince. And
King, I think. I don't know.
Prince, he means prince. I'm the king.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he means prince. So MP is fun. He's now 3 years old, and then his brother was born 4 days before his birthday, and his brother is Elijah. Elijah is 7 months old. So everybody tell me that the babies are cute. I say, yeah, I know, because they look like me. And I know Sarah gets that a lot, that, hey, oh my God, they look so much like their dad. And it's something she has to live with. She understands that's just how it is. They look like me because, as she said in the beginning, I'm cute and all that stuff, so my babies are cute. So, question for you. I want you to tell me what it was like having a child, like for the first time having a baby. Not going through the process, like knowing that, yeah, wow, I'm a mother now.
It still feels surreal. Sometimes I just look at them like, can't believe I made these babies. I don't know. I'm still just like, it feels like a dream to me. I know it sounds weird, but I still can't believe it. I don't know.
All right, well, the reason why I asked her, because I already had 2 sons before we got married, and I had the other 2. So getting it from a woman's perspective is a lot different from getting it from a guy, because you don't really go through the pains and struggle. Which, brothers, you guys got to understand that for a woman to carry a child for you for 9 months and then birth that child, and for you to just not support or not show any care, that's a lot, man. Yeah, that's a lot. And I'm not saying for those who are in these strange custody battles or situationships, or if you have a baby mama or quote unquote a crazy baby daddy or a crazy baby mama, and you guys are fighting each other. As much as you guys are going to be fighting each other, there's somebody being affected, and that's the kid. So if you can work things out, figure out a way to be present in your child's life. I love my father. I got to interact with him more as a teenager, but when I was younger, he wasn't there, and that's not through any fault of his. It was just how the situation was, being raised by my mother's sister, who I love dearly. She loved me unconditionally and never separated me from her kids. Whereas just, as a kid growing up, you still always question, where's my dad? Where's my mom? And my mom was over here living in the United States. And my dad was living in Sierra Leone with us, but I never really got to interact with him. And all I knew was things I heard from other people. Oh, your dad is such a cool dude. Your dad helped me in college. Your dad took care of me. Your dad this, your dad that. And I'm like, well, if he's so cool, if he's so awesome, how come I don't know this dude? But then when I got to meet him, which I was privileged to meet him, it was just, we understood each other. I don't know if it's just because of the DNA we shared. We understood each other. So it was one of those things where I made a promise to myself that I would try to always be in my kids' lives and try to be the presence in their life, as much as I can. Because sometimes situations happen, things happen, and you have to deal with another person. But another question for you, Sarah. So we've been through our little thing and all that stuff, all our issues that we had, went through, got married. We're celebrating our 4th year anniversary in a few days. Oh, well, more like what, 2 weeks or so?
On the
20th, December 20th.
So 3 weeks, maybe.
3 weeks? All right. I just want to know, what does real love mean to you now? Yeah?
I don't know. It's hard to put into words. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think real love means to me now. Before, real love was one of those things where it's just on social media, what you see on movies, or when you're walking together and then you're holding hands and it just starts raining. And for some reason, somewhere, like there's this love music in the background just playing just at the right time for you guys to dance in the rain. No, that is movie love. Now, what I think real love is going through all the grime, going through all the dirt, and sticking with it is through all the processes of everything you're going through is saying, like, regardless of everything that's going on, I'm choosing you at every point. And it took me a while to get to that point, but once I got there, it felt natural to just say, it's like, regardless of what is going on, I'm choosing this person. So for me, that's what real love is.
Before you woke folks come, I know some people are against the whole cheating, not getting back to, hey, do whatever works for you. That's you. But sometimes you have to look at if the good things outweigh the bad things. I mean, why throw away something for just cheating? Because before that, when did we start dating again?
A long time ago.
Yes. Yeah. So we had invested a lot of time, sweat, tears, effort into this relationship.
And mileage. Don't forget mileage.
That should be just a little price you pay.
Yeah,
that's a small price
on
you
my
paid
part.
for that.
Mileage on my part. So, okay, it's
yeah.
like a 8-hour drive from Augusta to Maryland.
He didn't want me flying down there because he was doing what he wasn't supposed to be doing.
That's all speculation.
That is true.
Anyways, we're going to go on and jump onto our next topic. All right, folks. So we're at our last topic. And this one I labeled, It Takes a Village. Now, when you're in a relationship, it's not just you two. It's also the people you have around you. Now, you got to understand that for your relationship to grow on different levels, on spiritual level, financial, or any other level, you need to have strong people around you to help you guys grow. So that's why having truly loyal friends help build stronger relationships. Because when it comes to your religious or your spiritual relationship with one another and with God or whoever your creator or being or the higher being that you believe in, you need to have people around you that will encourage the both of you to pursue that. And for us, we found that in our church, where we had strong people around us who believed in us, who prayed for us, who we can always turn to.
Who rooted for us.
Yeah, they were rooting for us because when we were going through our little arguments here and there, even though we passed the big hurdle, we still had the little bumps that we're going through. They were like pulling us aside and saying, hey, this is not what you guys separating or you guys saying this to each other. It's just to help us understand that we needed to work on the relationship instead of just saying, well, I'm not fighting for it anymore. And also having friends who you can lean on.
the best for you.
Yeah, who you can lean on. So one of my friends I always leaned on was Will. And Will is going to be on the podcast too. We have a different topic we'll be talking about. But whenever something was trying out, I reach out to him and say, yo, bro, this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. This is what's happening. And he will always give me his advice and he will never sugarcoat anything. And I just want to know, did you have somebody you were reaching out to?
Yeah, I have a few. The main one was Courtney. I would always reach out to her because she's the type of friend, she doesn't tell you what you want to hear. She tells you the truth. Like, whether you like it or not, she'll tell you. So if you're not ready for the truth, don't ask her for her opinion. So
Courtney's awesome. So If you guys see me posting about my rum cake, yeah, that's the Courtney I've been talking about. I always makes the best rum cakes, bar none. So how is being married change for you, knowing that we have people that are rooting for us? So would you think your marriage is a lot different now, knowing that you have this support, than before when we were like just starting out, kind of just thinking whether we have the support or not?
We've always had the support. I had no doubt. Because when we were planning on getting back together, I talked to a few people just to get their opinions because they knew the whole story. They were on the outside looking in. People that I trusted, I trusted their opinions and still trust their opinions, and they've never led me astray when it comes to like giving advice. So they were always there from the get-go, and when I told them what we wanted to do, they asked me if that's really what we wanted to do. Do we really want to do it? Well, for me, do I really want to do that? If that's something good for me, then they will be supporting me 100%. I mean, either way, they're still going to be there supporting me, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and that was the same thing for me too. So, one question I have for you. So how have the marriages around you influenced your marriage?
I grew up in a 2-parent household. My parents were married for 34 years before my dad passed away. So, I've always wanted to, when I grow up, raise my kids in a 2-parent household, not just because that's the norm, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted them to see what love is, not just going by the motion of it. For most of you who are Africans, growing up in a 2-parent household in Africa, your parents love each other, but they don't show it like physically, but the love is there. But I didn't want that. I wanted my kids to know that, hey, you can love somebody, and still show them and be an example to them, and not for them not to just guess like, well, I guess my parents love each other. So, no.
Well, for me, I didn't grow up in a 2-parent household. And if you guys just heard that, that's MP came downstairs while we were recording. He was talking about something about ball, but I had to send him upstairs. So he's a little upset. But once I'm done, I'm going to go, make up with him and just kind of see whatever it is he was trying to say. But anyways, I didn't grow up with my parents when I was growing up. Like I said, my aunt raised me, my mom's older sister. She raised me, and she was a single parent as well. So she was never married. And in my family, the only person that was married was one of our aunts who was married, and that's the only person we knew that was married. Everybody else either had been divorced or was just never married. So me and my siblings have always been in that situation where we always thought, well, yeah, we're never going to get married. And eventually it got to a point where I started telling myself, well, I don't want what happened to me when I was growing up to happen to my kids. If I ever have kids, I don't want that to happen to them. I don't want them to be in a situation where their father is never there or their mother is never there and they're being raised by somebody else, and they never get to see what it is to be truly in love with somebody or to share your life with somebody. So I made it a point to, once I fixed my wrong ways, was to always show them that this is what it should be when a father loves his kids, and when a father loves his wife, and when your parents are together and they love you and they're trying to do what's best for you guys. And I believe that not having those marriages around me actually helped me become better, or want to be better in my marriage. It's a section where I usually ask my co-hosts or my guests to say something out loud. Sarah, I really enjoyed doing this episode with you. But before we sign off, as a mother of young black men, what is one issue that is affecting black men that you want to say out loud? And how are you addressing or trying to change that issue in your everyday life?
Police violence. That scares me. It gives me anxiety. My kids are very young. Well, Junior is a teenager. I try to tell him to respect authority. You don't always have to prove yourself. Sometimes it's better to just walk away. Or I hate when people say, oh, he was trying to disrespect me. Forget that. Your life is worth more than proving yourself or proving that you're worth respect. Just learn to walk away and not always be the one to have the last say, you know?
No, yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that.
And then I always tell them to pray. Whenever you leave the house, pray so that you go wherever you're going safely and come back home safely.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think a lot of parents, especially mothers of black boys, are facing, and they fear all the time is police violence. And it's out there, people. I know a lot of people trying to say, oh, it's not, it doesn't exist, it's just the way you interact. Nah, it's out there, it's happening. We need to face it, we need to address it. If you're out there and you know it's going on, do something about it. What are you doing? I want you guys to reach out, send DMs, leave comments on the website, or send an email, send a text, or whatever it is. Let me know what you're doing. What are the organizations that are out there that you know about that other people should know about? Just go ahead and let us know. Share that information so we can share with the listeners. Because that's definitely something I worry about all the time as well. And also me being a black man driving out in the streets, every time I see a cop car, I need to make sure, one, I'm within speed limit. I say, okay, well, is this dude trailing me or what? Because I actually have a story where a friend of ours, me and a friend of mine were driving to Florida, and this cop was right behind us, trailed us for about 10 miles. And eventually, because we were not speeding, we were not doing anything, eventually turned on his lights and pulled us over and told us that the frame around the tag, which, mind you, he had a Maryland tag, and we were in I forgot, it was somewhere, it was Ryan County or something in Georgia. He said, well, having that frame around your tag is illegal in that county. And we looked at him like, well, he doesn't live in this county. He's driving through this county to head to Florida. How does that concern him? Is like, so we got pulled aside. Next thing you know, like, by to the car and all that stuff, trying to look for something, which fortunately there was nothing in the car for them to find. And once they were done, I guess they were satisfied with us just sitting on the side, and then they got up and left. Just like that. No explanation, nothing. Just because we were two black men in a car driving on the highway. That's what happened. Now, that could have gone left real fast had we tried to be argumentative with them and say, well, you're not going to search the car, whatever. It could have gone left real fast. Maybe it would have been on the news to say, oh, two black guys got shot because they were resisting arrest or whatever it is. So we're going to go ahead and delve into that in a later podcast episode. But I appreciate you letting the kids know about it, and also making sure you're praying for them. And I do that as well.
You have to pray for and with them.
Exactly. Praying for and with them, people. That's key. Anyways, I loved having you on the podcast. I hope I didn't scare you away, that maybe in future episodes you join me again as a co-host, right?
Right.
All right, well, guys, that's all. I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening to us and for giving us the opportunity to share our story. I would love for you to share your story with me. Let me know how you guys got in your relationship, the struggles you guys are going through, how you guys overcame those hurdles. Or if you're still going through those struggles, hit me up. I got some AM Talk videos I can send your way that might help you get over those hurdles. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Well, folks, that's all for this episode. I hope you guys got something out of this message. I really appreciate you joining Sarah and myself as we discuss our relationship and share with you some of the struggles we went through and how we overcame those. I hope you pick out something from this message. If you did, like it on iTunes, review it, subscribe, share with your friends. Let me know on Instagram. Send me a DM. Send me a DM on Twitter. If you're not following me already, my Instagram is Mr. Ganda. That's MR_GANDA. My Twitter is Mr. Ganda as well. It's MR__GANDA. get on the website, loudlysayingit.com. Send me a message on WhatsApp. If you go on the website, you click send a message, you'll send me a message on WhatsApp. Let's chat. Let's have a conversation, people. I want to know how you feel. If you're vibing with this, if you're not vibing with it, I want to know either way. If you're following AM Talks, let me know how you're feeling about that. I'm excited about next episode. It's going to be a surprise for you guys. It's going to be talking about friendship. So, you guys out there with your friends, I want you guys to be ready for it. I'm excited about it. I have some friends coming on. We're going to chat and talk about what it means to have true friendship, guys. Thank you again for listening. Have a blessed day.